Vanished, Flight 0, by Elizabeth Bridgewater, echoes in the inbox. The muted glow of Noah Halstrom's laptop cast eerie shadows across the cluttered desk, a silent testament to the late hour. The digital clock blinked past midnight. The room, a chaotic blend of papers and half-empty coffee mugs, was silent except for the soft hum of the computer. Noah's eyes, tired yet alert, were fixed on the screen. "What is this?" His voice barely broke the silence, as if not to disturb the secrets lurking in the dark. On his screen, an email had appeared without warning. No sender, no subject line, only a string of GPS coordinates and a cryptic message. "Flight 0 is not where they think it is." Noah leaned back, his fingers drumming a thoughtful rhythm on the desk. Flight 606, a commercial airliner, had vanished without a trace over the Indian Ocean 5 years ago. A mystery that spawned countless theories, conspiracy tales, and unresolved grief. Time to dig deeper, he decided, opening a new tab to begin his research. His fingers danced across the keyboard, pulling up old news articles, government reports, and speculative blog posts, each click a step deeper into the labyrinth mystery. As the night deepened, Noah's screen became a mosaic of information, clippings of news reports, blurry satellite images, and discussion forums buzzing with theories. The more he read, the more he realized how little anyone truly knew about the disappearance of Flight 606. Theories varied, from mechanical failure to more sinister plots involving hidden military agendas and international espionage. "I need someone who understands the ocean," he muttered, scrolling through his contacts until he found the name he was looking for. Dr. Marissa Clarke, a renowned expert in maritime anomalies, someone who could navigate the mysterious depths of the ocean just as he navigated the depths of the web. Picking up his phone, Noah dialed her number, hoping she would be awake. "Noah, it's late. What's going on?" "Marissa, I need your help. I received something tonight. Something about Flight 606. "Flight 606? That old mystery? What did you get?" "Coordinates in the Indian Ocean, and a message saying it's not where they think it is." "That's unexpected. Those waters have been searched thoroughly. But if this is credible, that's why I need you. You're the best at understanding what lies beneath those waves. Will you join me?" "All right, Noah. Count me in. Let's see where this leads." With Marissa on board, Noah felt a renewed sense of purpose. They needed more help, someone with skills in logistics and technology. He quickly thought of Lina Okoro, a savvy strategist, and David Rees, a tech expert. "Time to make some more calls," he said, dialing Lina's number first. "Noah, it's past midnight. This better be good." "Lina, I have a lead on Flight 606. I need your expertise." "Flight 606? The one that disappeared? What's your lead?" "Coordinates in the Indian Ocean and a message suggesting it's somewhere else." "That's quite a hook, Noah. I'm in." With Lina on board, Noah knew they needed someone equally skilled in digital sleuthing. He dialed David's number. "Noah, what's so urgent?" "David, I've got a mystery involving Flight 66. I need your tech skills. You know I can't resist a good mystery. Send me what you have." With his team coming together, Noah felt the stirrings of excitement and trepidation. There was much to do, and many questions to answer. Let's find the truth about Flight 606. As the first light of dawn began to seep into the room, Noah sat back, his mind whirling with possibilities and plans. The echoes of the mystery had reached his inbox, and now it was up to him and his team to follow them to their source. Shadows on the water. The sun hung low over Jakarta, casting long shadows across the bustling airport as the team arrived. The air was thick with humidity, and the distant roar of jet engines punctuated the heavy silence that had settled among them. "This is where it all began," Noah said, his eyes scanning the sprawling complex of Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. "We need to retrace every step." "Agreed," Marissa replied, adjusting her glasses. "We should start with the control tower logs and see if there's anything unusual." They entered the airport, the cacophony of announcements and chatter enveloping them. Lina, visibly tense, lagged slightly behind. Her connection to the tragedy was personal, and the weight of her mother's past bore heavily on her shoulders. "I'll handle the interviews," Lina said, her voice firm. "I need to understand what happened that day, from the people who were actually here." Leaving Lina to her task, Noah and Marissa headed to the administrative offices. The sterile corridors echoed with the click of Marissa's heels, a rhythmic reminder of their purpose. "Hello, can I help you?" A young man behind the desk inquired, looking up from his computer. "We're here to review the flight logs for Flight 606, Noah stated, presenting his credentials. "We'd appreciate any assistance you can provide." The staff member nodded and led them to a small room filled with filing cabinets and computer terminals. "This could take a while," Marissa noted as she rifled through the papers, her brow furrowed in concentration. Meanwhile, Lina navigated the busy terminals, her mind a whirlpool of emotions. She approached an older airport employee, standing near a luggage conveyor belt. "Excuse me," she began, offering a reassuring smile. "I'm looking into Flight 606. Were you working here when it happened?" "Ah, yes," the man nodded, his eyes reflecting the weight of memory. "It was a day I'll never forget. Can you tell me what you remember? Anything unusual?" The employee sighed, looking around as if ensuring they were alone. "There were whispers," he said quietly, "about missing entries in the logs and security footage that didn't add up." Back in the office, Noah and Marissa were deep in their investigation. Marissa peered at a monitor, her face illuminated by its glow. "Noah, look at this," she exclaimed, gesturing to the screen. "There are gaps in the security footage. It's as if entire sections have been erased or corrupted." "This supports the theory that someone tampered with the evidence," Noah mused, rubbing his chin. "We need to dig deeper." At the same time, David was engrossed in his own investigation. Seated in a dimly lit room, he pored over radar data, the hum of the computer, the only sound around him. "This is it," he muttered to himself, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "There are inconsistencies here. The plane's path suggests it was diverted." He quickly compiled his findings, eager to share the revelation with the others. As he gathered his notes, his phone buzzed with a message from Lina. "I've got some leads from the staff here," the message read. "Meet me at the cafe when you're done." As the sun dipped below the horizon, the team reconvened at a small cafe near the airport. The atmosphere was electric with the promise of new discoveries. "We've made progress," Noah said, looking around at his team. "But this is just the beginning." "Agreed," Marissa nodded. "These anomalies are too significant to ignore." "If we can prove the plane was diverted, it could change everything," David added, his eyes alight with possibility. "And maybe," Lina said softly, "we can finally find out what really happened to Flight 606. With a renewed sense of purpose, they sat in the gathering darkness, the city around them alive with anticipation and mystery, each determined to uncover the truth hidden in the shadows on the water. The blind zone. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the Diego Garcia naval base. The air buzzed with the low hum of activity, a stark contrast to the remote stillness of the surrounding Indian Ocean. "Deploy the drones just south of the coordinates," Marissa instructed, her eyes fixed on the monitor displaying the sonar's real-time feedback. "If there's anything down there, we'll find it." The team stood clustered around the portable operations station set up on the edge of the dock. Noah, Marissa, Lina, and David watched as the underwater drones dived into the depths, their cameras feeding back murky images of the ocean floor. "What are we expecting to find, Marissa?" Noah asked, leaning in closer to the screen. "Anomalies. Anything that suggests a disturbance down there. This area is supposed to be a blind spot, but I suspect there's more to it than meets the eye." As the drones navigated the underwater terrain, the tension among the team was palpable. Each sweep of the sonar sent ripples of anticipation through them. "Do you really think the plane could have landed or crashed here without a trace?" Lina questioned, her voice tinged with doubt. "It's not impossible," David replied, adjusting his glasses. "But the absence of debris is odd. If Flight 66 went down here, something should have surfaced by now." Suddenly, the monitor flared with a signal. A large object appeared on the sonar, its shape indistinct but clearly out of place amidst the natural seabed. "There! Enhance that image," Marissa commanded, her fingers dancing over the controls. The image sharpened, revealing a metallic structure partially buried in sand. The team exchanged looks, a mix of excitement and apprehension. Could it be part of the fuselage? Noah speculated, his mind racing with possibilities. "It's possible," she conceded, "but there's something strange about its size and position." Before they could delve deeper, a voice interrupted their thoughts. A tall man in a crisp, unmarked suit approached them with a confident stride. "I believe I can shed some light on that," he announced, his voice smooth and commanding. The team turned to face the newcomer, their expressions a mixture of surprise and suspicion. "And you are?" Noah asked, his tone wary. "Julian Kavinsky," the man replied, offering a slight nod. "CIA liaison. I'm here to offer some guidance." "Guidance or oversight?" Lina retorted, crossing her arms. "A bit of both," Julian admitted with a faint smile. "But mostly, I'm here to ensure you're not stepping into something beyond your depth." The team exchanged glances, each trying to gauge the man's intentions. "And what exactly do you know about this area?" David inquired, his curiosity piqued. "This blind spot you're investigating isn't just a mystery. It's a strategic military zone," Julian explained, his expression serious. "There's been covert activity here for years, which might explain the lack of typical aircraft debris." The revelation hung in the air, adding layers to the enigma they were unraveling. "So you're saying Flight 606 could have been intercepted?" Noah pressed, his investigative instincts flaring. "It's one theory," Julian conceded, "but without concrete evidence, it's just that, a theory." "Then we need to keep looking," Marissa asserted, her resolve unwavering. "If there's evidence of military involvement, we'll find it." Reluctantly, Julian nodded, recognizing their determination. "I'll assist where I can," he offered, stepping into the circle of screens. As night deepened, the team continued their search, Julian's presence a constant reminder of the stakes involved. The sonar pinged steadily, the ocean's secrets slowly unraveling at their fingertips. The chapter ended as they worked tirelessly into the night, each member of the team driven by the hope that answers lay just beneath the waves. Voices from the past, the bustling streets of Washington, D.C., hummed with the urgency of government and power plays, but for Noah and his team, the city was a labyrinth of secrets waiting to be unveiled. "We need to play this smart," Noah said, standing at the entrance of a nondescript cafe, his eyes scanning the crowd for familiar faces. "Our contacts here have been following Flight 606 for years. They know things even we don't." "Do you think we'll find anything that could lead us to the truth?" Lina asked, her voice tinged with the hope she had reignited at the support groups for victims' families. Lina had spent the morning with grieving families, listening to their stories and sharing her own. The pain was palpable, yet so was the determination to uncover what truly happened. "Every piece of information helps," Noah replied, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Let's go inside and see what David has found." The interior of the cafe was dimly lit, with a few patrons scattered across tables, lost in their worlds. In the far corner sat David, a laptop open in front of him, his fingers flying over the keyboard. "Noah, Lina, over here!" he called, waving them over. The gleam in his eyes suggested he had uncovered something significant. Noah and Lina made their way to the table, eager to hear what David had discovered. "I've been sifting through encrypted data leaks from whistleblowers," David began, his voice barely containing his excitement. "It wasn't easy, but I found a second hidden signal on the flight's path." "A second signal?" Noah leaned in, his interest piqued. "What does it mean?" "It suggests that Flight 606 was transmitting on an unauthorized frequency," David explained, pulling up a series of graphs and data streams on his screen. "Someone was communicating with the plane outside of official channels." "Are you saying someone on the ground was in contact with the plane?" Lina asked, her eyes widening in disbelief. "Exactly," David confirmed, his voice taut with the gravity of the situation. "And whoever it was, they didn't want anyone else to know." The weight of this new information settled over them like a heavy fog, each member of the team digesting the implications in their own way. Lina's mind drifted back to her brother, a passenger on Flight 606. He had always been the adventurous type, a thrill-seeker working as an investigative journalist. His last message to her had been cryptic, hinting at a big story he was about to break. She had never imagined it would lead to this. "If there's a hidden signal, then there's a hidden story," she said, her voice steely with determination. "We owe it to everyone on that flight to uncover it." "And we will," Noah assured, meeting her gaze with solidarity. "We're not going to stop until we have answers." David, too, had his reasons for pursuing the truth. Once a top analyst for the Department of Defense, he had grown disillusioned with the layers of bureaucracy that often obscured justice. This investigation had reignited his sense of purpose. "I left the DoD because I couldn't stand watching people manipulate information for their gain," he admitted, his voice filled with quiet conviction. "This is my chance to make things right." As they continued to discuss their findings, the cafe's ambient noise faded into the background, their focus singularly on unraveling the mystery at hand. Outside, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the city. The air was heavy with the threat of rain, mirroring the storm of uncertainty brewing within the team. The bell above the cafe door chimed as Julian entered, his presence immediately altering the atmosphere. "I hear you found something interesting," he said, sliding into the booth beside them, his tone both inquisitive and approving. "We have," Noah replied, cautious but willing to engage, "and it might change everything." Julian nodded, but the look in his eyes suggested that he had his own agenda, one that might not entirely align with theirs. With the stakes rising and time running out, the team knew they had to act quickly. Secrets were buried deep within the corridors of power, and only by working together could they hope to uncover them. As they prepared to dive deeper into the investigation, each of them felt the weight of the journey ahead, their personal histories entwined with the fate of Flight 606, urging them onward in their quest for truth. The rain began to fall as the team left the cafe, stepping into the cool night. The drops were heavy and relentless, tapping against the pavement with a rhythm that seemed to echo their pounding hearts. The city streets, slick and gleaming under the streetlights, reflected their hurried silhouettes. Each step took them deeper into the mystery, closer to the truth, yet further away from the safety of ignorance. Lina pulled her coat closer around her, shielding herself from the chill. Her thoughts were a storm of memories and emotions, each one tethered to her brother's smiling face. In quieter moments, she questioned whether she was driven more by guilt or love, but either way, the path was set. "We should talk to the families again," she suggested, her voice firm despite the emotional weight. "If there's any chance they know more about what he was investigating." Noah nodded, his presence a steady anchor amidst the chaos. "We'll visit them tomorrow," he assured, glancing sideways at Lina as they walked. "But tonight, let's go over everything we know. There has to be a connection between the signal and your brother's story." Julian followed a few steps behind, brooding. His eyes flickered with a mix of skepticism and intrigue, a cocktail of emotions that made him hard to read. Yet his presence was as much a comfort as it was unsettling, a reminder that the world they were delving into was rife with double crosses and hidden motives. "We should regroup at the safe house," David suggested, his mind already turning over possibilities like pieces on a chessboard. "We need to map out the information we've got and figure out the next move." As they turned a corner, the hum of a car engine grew louder, cutting through the rain. The sleek black sedan pulled up alongside them, its tinted windows masking the occupants. The team exchanged wary glances, their instincts sharpening. Here, in the dim-lit streets, the blend of shadows and light suggested unseen eyes, watching, waiting. Julian stepped forward, his posture commanding respect and caution. "Let's keep moving," he said softly, a hint of urgency in his tone. "We can't afford to be seen together for too long." The sedan lingered, its presence a silent threat. As the team quickened their pace, the tension between them was palpable, each of them acutely aware of how exposed they were. The rain soaked through their clothes, a cold reminder of the pressure weighing down on them. Eventually, they reached the safe house, a nondescript apartment tucked away in a quiet neighborhood. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of fresh coffee and the warmth of security. It was a place they had come to trust, the walls lined with maps and notes, all detailing their search for answers. As they settled around the dining table, Noah spread out the printed data David had compiled. "Let's figure this out," he said, his voice a steady beacon amidst the uncertainty. "There's got to be something we're missing, some detail that ties it all together." Lina leaned back, her eyes tracing the lines of data, searching for something, anything, that would make sense of her brother's last cryptic message. He always said he was on to something big, she murmured, the words heavy with regret and hope. I just wish I knew what it was. Around them, the rain continued its relentless patter against the windows, a constant reminder of the world outside. But in that moment, within the safe house, they were united by a shared purpose, bound by a mission that had become deeply personal. David adjusted his glasses, peering at the screen before him. There has to be a reason for the second signal, he reasoned, his fingers tapping a thoughtful rhythm against the table. Whoever was intercepting the communication had something to gain. We just need to figure out who benefits from this and why. The team worked through the night, driven by a mix of determination and desperation. Outside, the city's heartbeat slowed, its inhabitants retreating into dreams where the world was simpler, safer. But inside, Lina, Noah, David, and Julian were wide awake, their minds racing with possibilities and dangers yet to be uncovered. As the first light of dawn began to creep into the room, painting the walls with a soft, hopeful glow, the team knew that today could bring them closer to unraveling the tangled web of secrets. Each of them carried a piece of the puzzle, and together, they would unlock the truth, no matter the cost. The morning light had barely chased away the shadows when another car hummed down the street outside the safe house. Its engine murmured like a predator lying in wait. Inside, the team was too engrossed in their task to notice immediately, their exhaustion only amplifying the electric tension. Lina rubbed her eyes, her gaze flicking over the tablescape of documents and photographs. We're running in circles, she sighed, frustration creeping into her voice. There has to be something we're missing about the timing of these signals. Julian leaned back in his chair, arms crossed, his eyes narrowed thoughtfully. Maybe we need to think bigger, he suggested, his tone challenging. What if the signals aren't just about your brother's investigation? What if there's a larger play here? Noah nodded slowly, his eyes distant as he considered Julian's words. Could be. We know he was onto something significant. Maybe others are using his work to shield their own operations. The room buzzed with the weight of unspoken implications, shadows lengthening as the sun climbed higher. Each theory spun a web around their thoughts, tangling logic with fear and hope. David tapped a pen against his chin, lost in thought. Let's think about who benefits, he suggested, his voice steady, almost clinical. Follow the money, the power. Someone has to be pulling the strings. As they deliberated, the unspoken tensions between them simmered under the surface. Each carried their own burdens, Lina's regret, Noah's protectiveness, Julian's skepticism, and David's insatiable curiosity. I never wanted to drag you all into this, Lina admitted, her voice breaking the silence like a confession. But I can't lose him. Not again. Noah placed a hand on her shoulder, his touch gentle, grounding. We're in this together, Lina. Your brother. He's as much a part of this as any of us. His words were a promise, a bond forged in the crucible of shared danger. Outside, the car remained, its presence an unspoken threat. The occupants watched the apartment with interest, their motives shrouded in uncertainty. The team's every whispered plan, every hopeful conclusion, was unknowingly under surveillance. Julian stood abruptly, glancing out the window with a frown. We've stayed here long enough. We need to split up, keep moving. His voice was firm, underscoring the precariousness of their situation. The team gathered their things, the urgency in Julian's words propelling them into action. Every minute felt like an hour, each decision laced with the potential for disaster. David paused, his mind working through a plan. Let's meet back here at dusk, he suggested, his voice low. If anyone finds something, we regroup. As they slipped out into the street, the rain had ceased, leaving behind a world that was washed clean, yet haunted by secrets. The city around them pulsed with life, indifferent to the dangers lurking in its shadowy corners. Lina walked slightly ahead, her gait purposeful. The need to uncover the truth galvanized her, the echoes of her brother's voice urging her onward. She was ready to face whatever lay ahead, her resolve unyielding amidst the uncertainty. With their plans set and the day stretching before them, the team moved with renewed purpose. Each step was a dance on the edge of discovery and danger, every decision a step closer to unveiling the truth or to destruction. Whatever awaited them, they would face it together, bound by an unbreakable resolve to seek justice, whatever the cost. As the team dispersed into the city, the air seemed to thrum with possibility. Every corner they turned, every alley they traversed, held the promise of new revelations or hidden dangers. The city was a living entity, breathing secrets and whispers into their ears, urging them forward on their treacherous path. Lina found herself wandering through a quiet park, the morning's chill still lingering. Her thoughts drifted to her brother, memories flickering like a damaged film reel. She pulled her coat tighter around her, as if the fabric could ward off the chill of her uncertainties. "I need to find you," she muttered softly, determination hardening her voice. Meanwhile, Noah made his way to a familiar cafe, a place he and Lina's brother used to frequent. It was a place of solace and solidarity, but now it held an air of melancholy. He ordered a coffee and settled into a corner booth, eyes scanning the room for anything or anyone out of place. "Damn it, man," he whispered to himself, running a hand through his hair in frustration. "Why didn't you just tell me what you were into?" His voice was laced with regret, an echo of the conversations they'd never had, the warnings never spoken. Back at the safe house, Julian and David remained, sifting through the remnants of their hurried departure. Julian, ever the skeptic, couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone was watching them. The unease gnawed at him, sharpening his instincts like a blade honed too finely. "This isn't right," Julian muttered, his gaze fixed on the window, eyes searching the street for any sign of the lurking threat. "We should have been more careful." David, always the methodical thinker, tried to temper Julian's unease with logic. "We knew the risks, Julian. We just need to stay focused," he replied, though his own voice carried the weight of uncertainty. As they worked, an old photograph fell from the table. It was a picture of the four of them, taken in happier times. The memory of simpler days contrasted sharply with their current reality, each of them changed by the secrets they were forced to unravel. Later that day, Lina reached out to an old contact, someone she hadn't spoken to in years. She hesitated before dialing, her thumb hovering over the screen. When the call connected, she was met with a familiar voice, tinged with surprise and curiosity. "Lina, it's been a while. Didn't expect to hear from you," the voice on the other end said, a blend of surprise and guarded warmth. "Yeah, it's been too long," Lina replied, her voice layered with unspoken history. "I need a favor, a big one." As Lina delved into past alliances, Noah continued to dig into the cafe's patrons, seeking any lead that could tie back to the investigation. Every exchanged glance, every hushed conversation carried weight, a potential clue in their labyrinthine search for truth. "Come on, give me something," Noah murmured to himself, eyes scanning the room with a hunter's intensity. The lines between his personal mission and the overarching conspiracy blurred into a single driving force. As dusk approached, the team prepared to reconvene, each of them feeling the weight of the day's revelations, or lack thereof. The city, now bathed in the orange glow of the setting sun, seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the final pieces to fall into place. "We need to hurry," Julian said, his voice cutting through the din as he and David prepared to leave. "Whoever's out there, they're not going to wait around for us to figure this out." With the sun dipping below the horizon and shadows lengthening, the team regrouped, ready to share their findings. Each carried a piece of the puzzle, their collective knowledge a beacon in the gathering darkness. Together, they would uncover the truth, or become yet another hidden chapter in its endless, tangled narrative. As night descended upon the city, the streets transformed into a tapestry of flickering neon and shadow. The team, now scattered yet connected by their shared purpose, felt the city's pulse beneath their feet, a rhythmic beat propelling them forward. The truth lay hidden in the folds of darkness, waiting to be unveiled by those daring enough to chase it. Lina lingered in the park, the soft rustle of leaves her only company. Her thoughts were a maelstrom of past and present, her brother's face a constant, haunting presence. "I wish you'd left me a map," she murmured to the night, aching for guidance in a world that seemed determined to conceal its truths. The chill seeped in despite her coat, wrapping her in a shroud of doubt. Elsewhere, in the cozy anonymity of the cafe, Noah found himself drawn into the undercurrents of whispered conversations. Each word, every half-hidden gesture was a clue, a breadcrumb on this twisting path. He nursed his coffee, its bitter warmth a stark contrast to the cold uncertainty he felt creeping into his bones. This place used to be a haven, he thought, scanning the familiar surroundings with a hunter's eye. Now it's a goddamn puzzle. His mind flickered back to nights spent here with Lina's brother, laughter and camaraderie now replaced by the quiet echo of unspoken questions. Back at the safe house, Julian paced like a caged animal, his instincts bristling at the unseen presence he felt hovering just beyond the threshold. The photograph lay on the table, a testament to simpler times, now overshadowed by their grim reality. "We were fools to think we could do this without being noticed," Julian hissed, his gaze darting to the window, eyes straining to pierce the night's shadows. His heart raced with each imagined threat, a relentless drumbeat of fear and anticipation. "We've come too far to let paranoia derail us," David countered, his tone calm yet firm. "We have to keep our heads clear, focus on the task at hand." His words were meant to soothe, yet he could not silence the unease threading through his own thoughts. The photograph seemed to mock them, a frozen moment from a past that felt both distant and painfully near. It was a reminder of the bonds that tied them together, stronger now for the trials they faced, yet fraying at the edges as the tension mounted. Lina's conversation with her old contact stretched into the night, each word a tentative bridge across the chasm of time. "I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important," she confessed, her voice a soft plea for understanding. "I get it, Lina," the voice on the other end replied, a hint of warmth breaking through the caution. "But you know the kind of attention this might draw. Are you sure you're ready for that?" The question hung in the air, a challenge and a warning wrapped in one. As Lina considered her answer, the city around them pulsed with life and secrets. Somewhere, amidst the noise and chaos, the truth lay waiting, an elusive prey in this hunt for justice. Her resolve hardened, a steely determination setting her course. "Tonight's the night," Noah murmured to himself, eyes fixed on a group of patrons huddled in the corner. "Something's gotta give." His heart thudded in his chest, adrenaline priming him for the next step in their relentless pursuit. As the clock inched toward midnight, the team gravitated back to the safe house, each carrying their own piece of the puzzle. The air was thick with expectation, their collective hope a fragile beacon against the gathering storm. The city seemed to hold its breath, the night poised on the knife edge of revelation. "We don't have much time," Julian urged as they gathered beneath the dim glow of a single bulb. "Whatever's coming, it's coming fast. We need to be ready." As they pooled their knowledge, the pieces began to form a clearer picture, weaving a tapestry of deceit and betrayal that reached far deeper than any of them had imagined. Together, they stood on the brink of discovery, united by a shared resolve and the unshakable belief that no matter the cost, the truth was worth fighting for. The end. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, ring the bell, and tell your friends about My Listening Library.